In this video, we'll show my annual masterpiece where 3D animation is produced at 70F installation tutorial of series gasoline engines. I have tried to use the camera to shoot the installation tutorial before, but the angles that traditional cameras can show can't break the laws of physics. Restrict the opening angle of light. It is impossible to show the details of the assembly in detail. So I'm going to use the full model in the form of 3D animation. We will bring you one of the strongest gasoline engine installation tutorials. Let's cut the gossip. This is a 70 gasoline engine. There are many derivative models. Some models of many brands can be assembled by referring to the assembly tutorial in this video, including the Honda series GP110, GP200 GX6T, GX200 Baiyetong series, R5XR625, domestic brands, 68 F170 F172 F208 2102 1T22 3 2526 240 series. Single cylinders with a combined displacement of 160 cc to 240 cc. The inclined cylinder air-cooled gasoline engine can be assembled with reference to this video, but some accessories of different brands cannot be used universally. If you need to replace the accessories, you need to adapt them in order to allow the small partners who have not been in contact with it to install it smoothly. Let's first introduce which accessories need to be paid attention to. The crankshaft needs to pay attention to whether the form of the output end is what you need. Most 170 models are universal. Other models need to consult the manufacturer. The piston connecting rod set is used as the core component of the engine. The manufacturer will make some adjustments for the efficiency of the engine. You need to consult the manufacturer when replacing. Think of other angles. There are very few manufacturers in order to pursue the ultimate performance will also be adjusted. If you need to change the aroma, original accessories need to be purchased. A very small number of manufacturers will tighten the fire angle of gasoline engines. Make adjustments, make the engine more efficient. So it's very different from a tight firearm or a regular one. Especially joint venture brands and domestic first-line brands need attention. The two springs on the speed control bracket are very important. Don't cut it short. Do not replace it easily. Improper replacement will cause unstable. The other accessories above need special attention when replacing. If you choose the wrong model, the engine will not start. There's no high speed in other situations. The above is the place to pay attention when replacing accessories. Next, enter the detailed installation steps of all accessories. First, you need to check the box. Cover piston connecting rod set and steel head for assembly. Bearings need to be installed in the box. The model number of the bearing is 6205. When installing, you need to turn the side of the bearing with the type outward. It is convenient for follow-up observation of the model. In on-site maintenance, most small partners do not have hydraulic equipment to press the bearing, so we install the bearing by tapping. Put the bearing in the box. Splash iron handle, hit the iron handle with a copper rod. The bearing can be installed in place. Install the bearings. Next, install the speed ruler. The speed ruler consists of two progressive pieces. Speed ruler body, speed cap, speed ruler shaft composition. You need to pay attention to the card ring in the middle of the shaft. Bounded by the collar, the long end is inserted into the box. Put a taper into the mounting position. Put in Joe's teeth. Wait until you insert the Joe's gear shaft. Tap the shaft with a copper rod. Joe's teeth need to be turned during the process until Kiao-su's teeth rotate and there is a main split the blocks. Put in the gasket. Load the Joe's hat. The installation of Chiao-su teeth is completed. The following is the installation of white sense. The installation of the white feeling is very simple. Put lenses on the white sensation. Insert aroma. Installation hole. Load the chip. Plug in the open bayonet. One is all the content that is not installed in the camera part. Don't pack it next. Cover. Bearings need to be installed on the cover. The model number of the bearing is 6. When installing, turn the shaped side of the bearing outward. It is convenient for follow-up observation of the model. Place the bearing in the cover bearing position. Put on an iron handle, hit the iron handle with a copper rod to install it in place. Next, assemble the piston connecting rod set. As a core component of the engine, every step of the installation is crucial. It can't be installed wrong. The first ring and the second ring of the live vegetable ring have corresponding slots. Usually the dark color is the second ring, light color is a ring, and in this way the knife ring has a face mark. The marked side needs to be facing the top of the piston. The marking on the piston should be consistent with the direction of the connecting rod correction. Understanding the installation precautions for piston connecting rod sets. Then you can proceed to the pile. First, load the isolation ring of the oil ring. Install the upper and lower scraper and turn. Reload the second ring. Last link. Install the connecting rod. Piston pin collar, seller connecting rod lower cover. Spare, without professional installation tools. The above installation steps can minimize scratches on piston rings during assembly. Next, assemble the steel head assembly. Put the push rod fiber board. Install double head bolts. Put in the valve. Note that the intake valve is large. Small exhaust valve. Install the valve oil seal. Most models have only one valve oil seal for the intake valve, but some have two valve oil seals. Follow the original machine configuration. Install the valve spring and valve spring seat. Most valve spring seats for the intake and exhaust valves are different. The exhaust valve spring seat has a boss mounting position that the intake valve does not, but there are also intake and exhaust valves that both have bosses. Follow the original machine for reference. Install the rocker arm, then insert the valve adjustment nut and valve lock nut. Place the boss on top. Install the double-headed bolts for the muffler and air filter. Install the spark plug steel head assembly to complete the assembly. The assembly of the crankcase, cylinder head, piston, connecting rod assembly, and steel head assembly has been completed. Next, officially proceed to assemble the engine by placing the crankshaft into the crankcase. Since the fit gap between the crankshaft and bearings is very small, it cannot be placed in position immediately. It can be easily placed by swaying it left and right. When the gears approach the governor, rotate the crankshaft to align it properly. Next, install the piston. Before installation, the position of the piston ring gaps needs to be adjusted. The two gaps of the oil ring scraper should be located at one side of the piston, with a gap of about 20 millimeters between them. The gap of the second ring should be on the opposite side, and the gap of the first ring should be aligned with the gaps of the oil ring scraper, but slightly staggered. Adjust the gap of the piston ring retaining clip to face the neck of the piston. Use a tool to assist in piston installation for easier and safer placement without scratching the cylinder or piston. Place the tool on the cylinder and insert the piston, ensuring the arrow on the piston points down. Rotate the crankshaft to this position, then push down the piston to connect the connecting rod with the crankshaft. Install the connecting rod lower cover and the connecting rod bolts, tightening them with a torque wrench to a torque of. Hold the valves and sequentially install them into the crankcase. Rotate the crankshaft so that the marks on the crankshaft gear align with the direction of the timing shaft. Then insert the timing shaft. Make sure the marks on the timing shaft align with the marks on the crankshaft gear, thus completing the installation of the shaft. Next, place the clean cylinder head on top. Install the paper gasket and then install the cylinder head. When tightening the cylinder head bolts, do not tighten them all at once. Tighten them in multiple steps in a diagonal sequence. The assembly of the crankcase part is now completed. Next, install the steel head assembly and place the steel head. Do not change the thickness of the steel piece randomly. It must remain consistent with the original. Mount the steel heads in multiple stages. Tighten the bolts of the steel heads in a diagonal order. Ensure that the cylinder head is installed properly and that the machine does not incline towards the box cover. Install the cylinder head flow deflector and securely fasten these two bolts. Install the lower shield and only need to secure this one bare drill. Next, the carburetor needs to be installed. Sequentially install the thermal insulation quick key, the thermal insulation carburetor quick key, and the carburetor, and use 4 muffler fixing nuts to secure it to the controller bolts. Use M6 nuts to secure the carburetor properly. Next, the throttle assembly needs to be installed. Pull the throttle handle to the maximum position and secure the throttle assembly. Mount the speed adjustment bracket and sequentially hang the pull rod and pull rod spring, noting that the whole position of the spring must match the original hanging position. Tighten the clamp lock nut for the pull rod. Pull the throttle handle to the maximum position. Once the above steps are completed, the engine can be tilted to install the flywheel and igniter. Check whether the semicircular key on the crankshaft is intact, and sequentially install the crankshaft, oil seal, flywheel cooling impeller, and starter cup, securing it with the flying nut. This must be tightened with a torque of 80 Nm. The smoke and fire gap should be between 25–40 times. Usually this is the thickness of a business card. The kill wire should be clipped into the box above as shown in the video. To avoid vibrations during operation that cause the kill wire to wear and cause a stalling failure, the high-pressure ignition wire needs to be clipped over the thermal insulation block. Next, loosen the valve locking nut and install the push rod. Turn the flywheel clockwise and observe the action of the rocker arm. When the exhaust valve is pressed down, it should bounce back. Next, the intake valve is pressed down and bounces back. The action of the intake valve is completed, and there is a small action of the exhaust valve. Once the action is complete, you can safely adjust the valve. The valve clearance is 0.15 mm for the intake valve and 0.2. Adjust the valve clearance using the valve adjustment nut. Once the clearance is appropriate, tighten the valve lock nut to secure it. A special note: the valve clearance greatly affects the performance of the engine, so take it seriously. Next, sequentially install the cylinder head cover components and install the starter assembly on the cylinder head cover. Secure the kill switch grounding wire in this position and connect the kill wire. Remove the nut that was previously used to secure the oil changer. Insert the exhaust pipe. Install the air key. Fix the air device in place. Next, adjust the speed regulator bracket. Loosen the speed regulator bracket. Locking nut. Ensure the throttle handle is in the maximum position. Use the front position to increase up to the maximum. Twist clockwise. This gap is very small. Just get it in place. Then tighten it. Tighten the locking nut of the number frame. Next, install the silencer. First, attach the silencer gasket. Place the silencer. Fix the silencer. Fix the silencer. With 2 M8 nuts, install the fuel tank. When lowering the fuel tank, attach the fuel line. The fuel tank is secured with 3 screws. The inside one is an M6 of a 25 screw. The outside is secured with 2 M6 nuts. Check whether the oil drain screw is installed. The oil drain screw has an aluminum piece on it. Remember to install it. Without the chip, there will be oil leaks. The oil dipstick cover has openings on both sides. You can add oil from either side. It depends on which side is more convenient for adding oil. This is the entire process of assembling a 70 gasoline engine. Throughout the making of this tutorial, I fully considered that friends may not have professional repair tools during actual repairs. We rely on simple tools around us to maximize the assembly of the engine. I believe that for a long time to come, this tutorial is the most detailed and best repair tutorial you can find online, bar none. It took me 3 years from the idea to the final presentation of this video. This has the highest cost among all my videos. Spending such a long time and high financial cost is just to present a detailed assembly tutorial for everyone. I do not seek your rewards, only your attention and likes. This is my greatest support. If you have any unclear points after watching the tutorial, you can ask in the comment section.
Hey man, thanks for